Oh,
I'm gonna turn this on.
we can turn it off, the recording if you want.
How do you do that?
Let me show you.
Please do.
Okay.
See, she brought her own drinks even. Oh, I don't know.
I
if you have
do.
Pepsi, so you're a smart woman.
Well, nobody ever has Pepsi.
Look at you in your pink. You're ready for October.
I'm ready for October. I am.
Lots of Pepsi.
Right up there. I should be able to. Boop, boop. Hey, wait, okay, you're in there. Yeah, I don't know why.
I didn't know you had to be logged in, maybe that you have.
I don't know, but anyway, so I have to, as you know, I have to be monitored when I have to watch what I'm saying. I'm like, is that on? Okay, we gotta stop that. The strategy room, what?
Have you never been in here?
I've been in here, but this used to be the
You see the
bookstore.
bookstore, which was kind of cool.
And I'm going, what
Right.
is this?
It had all of our supplies, so we kind of did like an innovation strategic plan thing.
I like it.
And we talked about what we want to turn this room into, and so people came up with the strategy room where we can meet and then have boards to write on.
Oh, that's pretty. I see. I have those. Can I give you all the
Yes,
handouts?
great, thank you, and there's some pens
Yes.
that you brought, that was so nice of you.
I will get pens
Thank
too,
you.
yes. Did Shelley not come with you?
No.
She's like, no, you have to leave her at home.
She is teaching. Down the fort.
Oh, God, I love you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, because I just get on here and babble for a little bit.
No,
Yeah, a couple hours. Yeah, it's fun.
I can do that too though, so putting us together is probably not the smartest, huh?
No. But we do have fun.
That is very true.
Oh. Oh, pens.
I thought you were gonna be here for the accreditation visit. I didn't get to see you.
No, I'm going to, where am I going this year? Green Country. Well, yes, they're free, take it. Brilliant, come on. Are we expecting others? Oh, Debbie Owsley says she's not coming.
Yeah, she didn't teach today, so that's why we're recording. I know some others had the links, like some other administrators from campus.
Oh, yeah, oh, I feel sure.
So I
that
don't
there'll
know
be
if they'll
people that-
log on, and then Tracy Porter text and
Yes.
said she'll be a little late.
Okay, she's like a Laura.
But she said she might log on to Zoom and listen in her car.
Yeah, it works.
So,
We kind of like Zoom, don't we? Yeah, it makes our lives easier, doesn't it? We like it instead of having to get up and go somewhere all the time.
But
it is nice
for
for a nice change.
Not.
It is.
oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Oh, look, Cindy's turned out to you.
No,
She's
sorry.
turned out to you.
She is a winner. I love her.
Chicken dinner.
Thank goodness.
Denise gets all the credit.
Way to go, Denise.
Well,
Wow, I
this is
love
just
it.
off the website, so.
Oh,
some
well,
of
then
them-
no credit. Yeah, right? You
Oh, this
put
is,
it onto paper though.
this is fantastic.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, just trying to keep my life together.
When you figure that out, will you share?
Cindy, who were your site visitors? Do you remember their names? Melanie, Seneca?
No.
Fran. Something.
No.
Renee, was the last name Seneca or the first? Last name. Oh, okay. I was thinking Seneca. I once had a,
Melanie went to yours, right?
I once had a person on a testing thing for massage therapy. And her name was Indigo Blue. And Indigo refused to give me her social security number, so we could not pay her. for coming. We used to pay people to come to skill standards development meetings. And it was the funniest thing. I mean, I still think about that whole group was a guy come around and massage my shoulders. I'd be like,
Massage people.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love
I love doing massage.
but you're scaring me a little.
I had one Monday, actually.
Oh,
It's amazing.
A free site visit.
I'm working on a,
She said, "You're really like tense," and I was like,
yeah.
We had Starla
Really?
Mason and Yolanda Richards.
"Oh, okay."
And I believe Starla Mason showed back up at Tulsa Community College.
Wow.
She was a interesting little one.
Where's she from?
I wanna say she was up from like the
So south.
southeast part of the country, or the southeast, no, southwest part of the country. Northwest, I'll get my directions, you know, I'm a rad tech, I don't know.
Just throw out,
Yeah.
throw out
Up towards like Montana.
there we go,
that area.
there we go. Yeah, you were totally off.
I
None of those directions you just mentioned are Montana.
That's why Denise drove today.
Okay, good. I grew up on a farm, and my grandpa, because you could like hold jobs until you were like 15,
Mhm.
16. So I worked for my grandpa on a farm, and he would start a field for me and go, okay, now there's gonna be blah, blah, blah over in the southeast corner, and you're gonna wanna be sure to do this, and I'll never forget going. So, but if you didn't know your directions, you got screwed.
Yeah.
Because everything, he had been a navigator in the Navy.
Yeah.
In World War II, and so everything was directions to him.
Yeah,
Thank God I didn't have to learn whatever those lines are, what are those things, parallels, you know, because that's how they actually navigated, not by the north, south, east, west, but he was very into that, that's for sure. Probably be helpful if I tried to find prospectors.
I got directions from my parents, like turn at the curry place.
Yeah.
Go down to past so-and-so's farm, I'm like, huh?
Yeah,
I don't know the name of the people. that
I
do this.
used to know those things in and out, and then I have a lovely a lovely 45 years where I haven't been there, and I don't miss it at all.
I wonder where the people are that I've given directions to.
They're all together.
I love that.
Have you ever seen that movie Rat Race? They stop and they
No.
ask for directions, and she's this lady with a squirrel. And if you buy something from her, then she'll give you the right directions, but if you don't buy anything from her, she'll give you the wrong directions.
That's funny. It's kind of like sharing your grandma's secret recipe, but leaving out ingredients.
Yeah.
You know?
So your guys' curriculum maps, there was, I understand, IRM, formative, summative.
I know, I had to Google it
I googled it,
and
I still don't understand it.
me,
Laura, what's your definition of formative assessment and summative assessment? Or
Formative is like in progress. Is that right? And summative is at the end?
Formatives while it's happening.
Uh-huh.
So it would be like where you go, okay,
like,
no, you need to change, blah, blah, blah. Like
so
if you're doing a
summative
skill
would be
check,
with the
summatives at the end, where
mastery.
you, yeah.
got it. Okay,
formative,
Okay.
it's being introduced.
I'll work on that this weekend.
Today's
I don't have mine.
meeting.
Did you have to have it in there? Didn't.
See, you're worrying about nothing.
Well, cause
Well,
I
you
had,
know, you
I
can't count on
had
the
one
difference
started
between one
and they
cycle
didn't
during
I'm
the
have
other.
telling you,
and I was
It was
like,
a
I'm
rude
still,
awakening
I'm
this time.
I've gone to a number of the visits with different groups, and it's always, sure, it's sometimes not the people who are not the people who should be, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm really crappy at my job, so I'm going to go out and judge.
Oh my
other people.
gosh. Good, he can run it.
How are you? I haven't seen you since, I don't even think I saw you at summer conference.
Let's go back perspective last night.
Well, look at you.
Should be the ACT conferences.
The baseball games.
Yeah.
I know.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Would have had three, but that's what I was playing.
Dang it.
That's fun.
That's a fun place to watch baseball too. Let's go
I had never
somewhere.
been in the city, like, I've been to a game, I've been to Wrigley, that was like, we stayed on Northwestern, this
You've never
down,
been in
so I
the,
never stayed in the city for any, it's a great city.
it is an amazing city. One of the few places that I can go and go, I could live here, I really could. You know, a lot of them I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's one I really like. Okay, I'm having a heck of a time trying to. Actually, you know what? I don't. Is this the computer that's hooked into this?
Yes, right here, would you like it?
I just want this stuff, yes.
Yes.
What is that?
It's like, I don't know, I haven't touched that yet.
Logitech.
Push button, see what it does.
No,
It's got
I'm gonna do
audio,
it.
oh, it can zoom in and out, I think, on us.
Sweet.
Oh, it's the camera,
Oh, fancy.
Hello, Brittany, welcome to the fun.
Okay, so that is working, okay. I'm not doing anything bad, I'm just making sure we're all, and we've just been recording this whole time, so,
It's all right, we've said really nice things.
But none of them were about you for, so. Just saw, Gina in the hallway, or in the parking lot, Hubbard, she said her daughter's, going to, it was
they're
just
the president.
El Presidente,
Presidente.
El Presidente. You still like your thing there?
Dude,
Yeah,
Allison just
it's
called.
brown paper.
for that. And you don't have, it doesn't look crappy like this.
I don't have stacks of them.
Good. It's like a first grader. Are you gonna be able to come to our?
Your statement.
Mhm.
I plan on it. That's all you don't have ready yet, but.
Okay,
doesn't
it's not a
matter
big
to us.
deal. I don't have,
Gotta get
it's
through the
a,
list.
it's a go through on your own time kind of thing. I mean, you tell me when it'll work for you.
Oh, we don't have any for you.
No, that's what it is tell me when to.
They were all,
Really? Well,
all whenever I was out or I.
yeah, really well. I think, you could probably ask, also Tech, they've been at every meeting, so that, and I don't know how everybody else is, you know, they're like, oh, I did this in 2 minutes, and we're done, and I'm like, how nice for you. The other areas, what other one, have you been, you haven't had to go to anything else? No, I've just been out, but I've heard, okay, you've heard? How are they? What are they doing? What am I not doing right is what I need to know. It doesn't really matter because tomorrow's my last one and I mean, we've done 20 meetings over, you know.
I think
it's
some
like,
are
what
just
is-
480 or 960, take your pick.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I wonder how they have enough SIP and SOC codes for all that stuff. That's always our challenge, because to make it, and the one that we are really going to have to be very flexible on is tenant system. Because it is all over the map. And we knew that going in, I mean, a year ago, Emily and I looked at that, and I said, you have to pick a number, and we went, no.
You don't know
Anything.
No, I don't wanna pick a number, and I mean, no, you need to, no, someone's gonna be really mad. So, we've about decided that for different levels, like if we don't do. We only have, if someone needs a 480 program, we're going to use this. So it's not gonna be Lamont. And if it's the 600-hour one, which is necessary for many schools, then we'll call it something else. The medical assisting will be the granddaddy. It'll be the big 900 some hour one. So
Are you specifying what courses are in?
I hope so, yeah. I got a message from Brian Off yesterday, and he said, I'm confused all of a sudden. Oh, that's okay, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just babbling. He was just concerned about, he said, I'm not sure I understand what's going on now. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize I'd done something. He said, well, the director came to my school and he said, you know, that we were gonna get to pick our courses and do this, but you're spending all this time on these meetings talking about courses. And I said, well, that's for me. Because I have to put something in the computer that says this is what all these hours mean, or these courses. So now this isn't about you, please, this is about me. Have you never figured that out? As it should be. Oh, it's pathetic, I know, and sad. And we have new people who haven't, who we haven't had before, Brittany. So we're after 9, so in trying to be cognizant of your time, I'm here until at least 11:30 when I'm going to go to a lunch and learn. Because, you know, Meridian has great food and why not, right? I knew I'd already be here. There are a couple people in the room that haven't been to one of the meetings yet, so let me tell you a little bit about how, what our goal is and what we've been, what we've been doing to accomplish that goal. Shoot. It doesn't matter, we have okay.
And we
About
have
my-
like our hours down there and stuff if you need to pull up those.
Yeah, I have it all on one document. I think I'm going to, yeah, that's probably what's gonna have to happen. Okay, I totally forgot I needed that because you guys are so,
Cause all I have look up is this and this.
yeah. Okay, that's good though. That's
Sorry.
awesome. No, and everyone has their own thing, so. So what we've been trying to do is to create in our instructional framework, something that represents each one of our program areas, meaning we would have radiologic technology, and every time I say that, I swear, and every time I say that, I think about who's the director before you? Sharon. Oh my God. She got so mad that someone put it in wrong at summer conference, and it wasn't radiologic technology, it was radiology technician or something like that. And she lost it at summer conference, and I'm like, she goes, we have talked about this, you know that this is, and I'm like, I wasn't the one that did the agenda, I'm so sorry, you know, and, yeah, I can still see Sharon going, no. So, whatever the title is, you all can decide, but you have been your own program, anything that gets financial aid, we usually call it exactly what it is in our framework and go from the end and go from there. So we have a compilation of how many hours each of you have been running your program at. This is the best news you're gonna hear all day. Are you ready? You're all accredited programs, so it doesn't matter what I put in the computer. This meeting is to help moi, because you all have been approved by your accrediting body for however many hours, right? Because they come and do a site visit and they say, yeah, we approve this. Yeah, so why are you laughing?
Coming
Okay,
next week, we'll see if.
okay. But when they bless your program and put your name up on their website as one of their programs, then that's going to mean that we don't have to have everything exactly alike for each program. Yay, team,
Okay,
right?
so that means course names, course hours.
Nope.
Then that, okay.
Nope,
So what about the Pell side of it?
great question. You're still gonna be able to, all of our programs that have an accrediting body, their Pell, you will still ask for whatever it is that you have, and that's what your students will be granted. It won't be dependent on what I have in the system. I want to make it as close to what you all have as possible, and I'd like to have some common course names and, if there's some hours of something that are similar, that would really be nice too. So I would prefer to make it what I have to put into my system, that then your school will go along and they'll say radiologic technology, check, we want that. Laura says it's 2,300 hours. I don't know that. I'm just throwing something out. So Laura says 2,300 hours. I'm gonna go in and I'm going to say, yeah, I do this and this and this and that. Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't matter, because what you're going to do on your end, you have your own system. Each one of you, your schools have what can I think of the word? Where you keep grades, transcription. Each one of you transcript grades, and you keep track of what your courses are called. If your courses are called the same thing as mine, I don't care, because those are two completely separate systems. Does that make sense? So you're just having to check a box for the State Department. That's it, okay? For you personally, you're still going to do what you want to do. Yay! How happy is everyone?
I feel like I can breathe a little bit yesterday, yeah. Time for lunch.
Yeah, that's what I say too. Screw this. Let's go have lunch.
Laura,
Told y'all that beforehand. Hey!
hey, Laura, I have a question on that.
Sure.
So, when we're entering it into the CTIMS and it doesn't match, what are we going to do to,
I have no idea.
okay, so you're still working through that?
Yeah, do you think we've had a meeting yet? You're cray, girl.
Okay,
So, everyone is out. The people who would need, like Sandra
uh-huh,
is at Southern right now, and 2 weeks ago she was gone for the whole week. And so we haven't talked to CTIMS even to
Okay.
say, what are you going to do to make this work?
perfect,
Worst case scenario, we're gonna do exactly what we did last year for
Perfect.
those accredited programs, where you just say, we're an accredited program, here's our course list, period.
perfect. Thank you. That's what I needed to hear. I appreciate that.
Yeah, why would let me just tell you, if we think that something is going to be fixed in CTIMS by January, we're wrong. So you don't have to worry about that there's gonna be some new process.
Okay, thank you.
I don't feel like
appreciate
there will be a process, but I have not had confirmation yet.
that. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Does that make anyone else really nervous? No, just me? Okay, great. So I have a document that I can pull up, but, okay, I'm still confused. So who is this? Where is the computer that this is?
It's all in this thing.
It's in there,
So you're
okay.
just controlling it with that keyboard.
So
But
if,
I'm logged into my login.
so if I send an email, I just want to be able to upload a document to here. You're logged in up here.
You can log in, you can send it to my email.
I can send it to your email and that'd be the easiest way? Okay, good. That's what I wanted to hear. So everyone take a deep breath. Refresh your coffees. Laura needs to do something she didn't do ahead of time, sorry.
Can I log into my email while you're doing that?
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
here. Of course. Emily Wheeler, attach file.
Emily W, yes.
I gotcha. What is this called? She has something called master list.
I'll let you type on this thing.
On that, how many total courses do you guys have for your program? Because like ours is broken up in 25 separate courses.
We have 17.
I'm being told I had 2.
Two.
Awesome.
Maybe one and two.
Yeah, like I counted 1 and 2 as separate courses.
Okay.
It's like we have procedures for courses instead of 2.
Yes. At 21 was the number that came to me first. Okay. At 21.
I don't know what it is when I need to see better that I scrunch down. Why does my shoulder, would it matter to my shoulders, right? That doesn't make any sense at all. No, I'm just a scruncher. I was not commenting as to your scrunching, merely my own.
We have 25.
We used to have 23, but then when we
Okay, I'll send it to you
combined
now.
image analysis, pathology, and procedures into procedures 1 and procedures 2, so that's what we started. So that's when 2 years ago we did the substantial change. We changed her,
I sent it to you.
So you're.
that cute little ding.
Pathology and image.
Laura Morris. I don't see the attachment. There it is, okay. Yay.
Oh my,
Oh, yeah.
and then.
These are all
I
these
need
other
to-
things
I
on
wanna
it.
share that with the.
Yes.
Get out of my.
Email. You don't want to share all your email?
Look at those little pop-up.
I know, right?
Oh, where'd my Zoom thing go?
Oh,
We lost you. We lost them. I was gonna blame you.
I know. Okay. I'm from the state, I'm used to it. And for good reason. Okay, y'all, I am not a big aficionado of the mouse pad.
I
but
know.
I'm just not I'm a mouse girl, not a mouse pad
Yeah.
girl, so.
I did.
And
It's
I'm
colorful,
trying.
I love it.
Oh my gosh, so gotta give my props out to my Emily.
Let me sure.
My Emily is the super D coolest ever, and she went through every one of these and created. She took what every school had asked for and put it in their very own little box here. So, okay. This is the part where my skills with the mouse, unfortunately, you will see. So we have, there's Metro Text. Hey girl. Hey girl. Hey Porter Wagner.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Do you need tea or anything?
I just did.
Okay.
First, thank everybody on the video.
Intake, output. So we have everyone's courses listed, and I know you're going, this doesn't help me because it's a million courses looking in this screen. But, actually, since I emailed it to Emily, she probably can email it to you guys too. Did you just do that?
did.
Thank you. So you'll look for the tabs along the bottom and, find Rad Tech. And, so then we can see what everyone is doing. So Great Plains isn't here yet. So Britt, I'm sorry, we maybe should have introduced everyone now that we're all here. Should we do that real quick? Because I don't know whoever, well, now I'm not sharing anyway. Brittany, what school are you with? She's with you?
Hello. Yes, I'm with Metro Tech. I had a last name change, and so I'm not
Okay.
recognizable as much. But Brittany Wall, now
Okay.
Brittany Kilgreath.
I know who you are. When I hear your voice, I'm like, oh yeah. Okay.
Good to see everybody.
Yeah, well, you can see us more than we can see you at this time. So Great Plains, and these aren't necessarily in order, okay? She just copied and pasted them in and then put beautiful colors down so that everyone could see the differences between the schools. So, here we have Great Plains, and it looks like their number is 2380. And I think they're the only ones that aren't live. They're gonna be on Memorex. A few of you are old enough to know what that is. I can't do that joke with most groups. Did you know that? It's very sad. My life is sad because they do not know any of my jokes and I'm really funny. Beep, beep, okay. Go back up here. Sorry, I really have poor mouse skills. I think there's something about your brain that this is like a way that you can tell that you've had brain injury or something, because this is my kryptonite. So here's Autry's. And you're 2732. This is what was asked for last year, okay? that's where we got the numbers. Indian Capital, we have 2731. And like I said, I just had to show the pretties, how pretty everything was, so everyone would feel good about their own stuff. And here's Meridian.
Does that include?
2706. Okay, and some of you, one thing that and this is just a curious thing, we've talked about it before, I know we've met before. How many of you require anything as a prerequisite to your courses before students come in? You do, what do you require?
A&P.
You require A&P, okay, okay. And midterm and Metro, how about you?
So we ever get
Okay.
prereqs.
Anyone else? No prereqs? Everyone coming into this does have to have an associate's degree in something or be within X number of hours. Is that your requirement?
Except now we have an articulation agreement with
Okay,
NOC.
NOC, okay. So what is, talk to me about your agreement. Just tell me a little bit how it works.
A student has to have 15 hours through NOC,
Oh, they only have to have 15. It's not like their last 15.
19 total,
Minutes.
15 through
Yes, 15 has to
NOC.
be through NOC.
Oh, I'm
Minimum
with you.
19.
Oh, 19 total.
And
15
15 through
with
NOC.
NOC.
And then,
Okay.
The BLS, OSHA 10. And then, upon program completion, our hours go over to NOC.
Yeah, it's like up to 45 credit hours will be transferred after they complete our program. And so they'll get an AAS degree in applied technology
Applied sign.
industry certifications. That's what it's called.
Okay,
So they're basically taking their general education requirements.
Yep.
So those 12 general eds, and then there's, it's like A&P and midterms if they haven't taken that one already. And then there's like a physiology or sociology, a biology.
Is I'm curious, will they accept your AMP and midterm, or you all have to? I mean, because I know you offer it in, you offer it in short term or WED, whatever we call it now. And you also offer it as part of your high school programs. So do you,
It's
If
kind
it-
of
will
a
that
case,
work?
it's kind of a case by case. It's
Okay.
what's the ed to go, they don't take the ed to go
Okay.
once. Cause it's not enough for hours or something
Okay.
like that, but if it's the other one, they usually do. So
okay,
usually Rick says just call me, Rick H.
and that was, I mean, I know Rick, I think, he has so many people that are lining up for nursing, I think that he needs a viable path to put
Yeah.
people in other areas. So good for you guys,
Yeah,
that's
it was-
that's a good deal.
General biology, AP, midterms, general psychology, and the principles of sociology.
Okay,
We're kind of the elective, it's allied health focus.
okay, gotcha, yeah, he has a degree sheet, okay, cool. So, and tell me what you were doing, Ms. Tracy?
They have to be within, either have an associate's or be within 12 hours of an associate's. We do not have an agreement with anyone, it's just they have to do it. And then, we don't make prerequisite for AP and midterm, but if they have it coming in, we give them advanced standing.
And at that point, they don't have to come, does it have to be within a certain number of years with a certain grade kind of thing, or is it just anyone and everyone
It
gets it?
is, but my applications are done for somebody else.
Of course, yeah.
And I'm wanting to say there's something with 3 years and something with 5 years.
Okay, good. Now, my recommendation is
Yeah.
just that there be some sort of caveat in there, and you
Yes.
all as a program director have the right to say
I think
that.
if it's been 5 years, they can take it.
Good, instead of challenge it,
Yeah.
good, like your
But I'm not
AP
positive on
final.
that, but I'm thinking that it's correct.
Okay, and what are you doing at
Ours is the 12 years also, like they are 12 hours. So as long as they're within that window or already have it completed.
Okay.
And then we just
And your
started-
AMP and midterm, you guys use Course to Go also,
I
it's an
don't,
option.
I'm not sure what they're doing, because we used to say for college credit and they took that away this year, so I don't know what
Okay.
it is that they're accepting now, I'm not sure.
So, and I remember discussions with Sharon many years ago about that you all taught your anatomy as far as, bone, I'm gonna say prominences, I don't know all the name of it.
Radiographic anatomy.
Thank you,
Yeah.
yes, it's not necessarily that, so you like for them to have an overview, but you're still going to, every one of you still gotta cover specific radiographic
Yes.
anatomy, because of the nature of knowing how to position people and so on, right?
And we do not take the head to go, and it has to be 8 hours of AMP. So it has to be AMP 1 and AMP 2, or it has to be human anatomy and human physiology, because it has to be with a lab, that is our.
Oh, so yours is like you have to have a
Yeah,
college level.
Yeah,
AMP.
but if they don't have it, we teach it in their lab. So,
Yeah, well, of course, that makes total sense, okay.
And Emily, the NOC one, that's not just Autry Meridian, that's for anybody. So it could be from Metro Tech if they had a student that took NOC classes.
Oh, okay,
It's open and they have it for other programs, not just Rad Tech too. It's that
Okay.
same degree, they align different hours with different CTE courses.
Yeah, they can do agriculture, business, digital media, this is how many hours that they can accept from a technical school.
okay. So if anyone wanted in on this, they could do that.
which makes it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who needs to do a better job of promoting that then, huh?
And if you want, we have an agreement, it just has Meridian, so you guys could just change it to your name.
Wipe that part out.
Well, and the nice thing, it is mostly in northern Oklahoma, but they do have multiple
Classes.
campuses and online classes, yeah, exactly, so. Tell me what you guys are doing Tulsa Tech,
We don't have any prereqs.
okay?
I teach A&P with midterm in it, but it's called A&P for radiography.
Okay.
And we prefer them to have their degree.
Yeah.
But we're the same with if it's within 12 hours, but we haven't had to cross that bridge with anybody.
Really?
Yeah,
Are most of your applicants already degree holders?
not most of the applicants, but the people that are accepted in.
Yes. Well, obviously, that would make sense, okay. So do you all currently have any kind of college agreement?
No.
Does TCC have a rad tech program?
Yes.
That's what I thought, okay. Who else has in college, and I know obviously Cameron, we still and have always considered them ours.
OSU, OKC, but they're not J-Cert accredited.
But he's the HLC.
Oh.
Southwestern has one.
Southwestern has one?
Also,
OU
Weatherford,
has one.
Did
Rose.
TCC get their?
Rose State,
They've had
They're
their visit.
supposed to be getting it, but they haven't got it yet. They have to visit it late July.
So I have TCC, OSU, OKC, Southwestern, OU, Rose State.
I think that's it.
Yeah, Becomes no longer.
So before I know we're supposed to just be talking about this, the courses and stuff, but I'm already bored with that, so let's talk about something else. No, we'll get back to it, but I am.
Spray bottles.
I know. Would you please, God, do you think it's bad when your 25-year-old, the other day, she said, I've heard of this stuff, it's like ginkgo biloba, and it's supposed to help you remember things, do you think you might wanna try some?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something.
I said, little chemo brain, okay,
We
yeah.
had a student one
She
time
says it
that
makes a
was
difference.
struggling and Dina, you need to take this ginkgo. And that little girl pulled through and passed. I don't know what happened. but she did.
Well, and she says, and I know I do search for words all the time, and it drives my family insane, because they have to be around me more than anyone else. It drives me crazy, so maybe I should. Anyone tried it? Huh? No? No one else needs it? then-
Oh, well, I didn't say that.
I forget to get it.
That's exactly how I feel. Oh my gosh, okay. Yeah, I tried not to be hurt. I was like, she's caring for me in her way. That's very sweet of you, honey. You gotta love being a girl mom, right? Girls will go.
We have been considering, we're probably going to not doing advanced standing for midterm,
Mhm.
and taking, and just
And doing
having a
it?
separate course. We
Adding it to
do
your
it, we
courses?
do it,
Okay.
but we only have
don't
usually
pay
like 3 people in it, so what we're thinking is making it part of our intro. I had thought about making it part of AP, but making it part of intro and not having that course.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got, I think that if a textbook company wanted to be super smart, they would combine those two things and tell people how to incorporate the midterm, where it's not just I'm memorizing these words, but how to really integrate it into anatomy and physiology to make it. So someday, if I can remember to tell someone, that I'll be rich and famous, because I'll come up with that.
What do you do? Do you have 2 separate textbooks?
No, I used our most recent midterm book from when we taught it as a separate course, and just pulled out my favorite 25 terms out of each unit, the ones I thought applied the most,
Yeah.
and then put them into the first of A&P. We do that first, and then we go over the anatomy part and try to link it all together.
At Autry, we don't require midterm or A&P, and we don't accept advanced standing, we just teach it.
Okay,
And if it matters, human structure and function
I see that.
and core medical terminology are listed on ours,
Mhm.
but we don't teach it in our program, so that's why we always advertise 25, 65 hours, total hours. So that maybe would help the total, everybody's average,
Okay.
I don't know.
Speaking of, let's see, sometimes she puts, and if not, you have it on there. Let's go back here. Yes, so M has put all possible courses, so this is what everyone calls everything. And there's a lot of different courses out there, and if it says 120, I don't know what that means. Closing some applications. Well, too bad. Sorry, dang it. Sometimes she has that, no. Okay, but you have this document right here, I believe. Yep. Can you all still see my screen? Can you see a different document that is tech center, total number of clock hours in program, or do you still see the one with the colors on it?
All that's showing up right now is your copy of master meeting doc spreadsheet.
Okay, so let me stop share and share this. Isn't it fun? You guys get a play-by-play of literally everything I'm doing as I'm doing it. Did I stop share? Share. Boop. Okay, let's go back. Let's do that. I keep clicking on the mouse pad in the wrong area. Okay, now can you see something that says tech center total number of clock hours? Carol?
Yes, it's there now.
Okay, cool, thanks. So this is the how to get a number for Laura, because the world revolves around her. And so we were talking just a minute ago about the differences in the programs and what we have as prerequisites, what we have as, but Meridian, oh, I see, you're 2565, but if you added in your med term, human structure and function and med term, it
706.
would take you to 2706, okay. So, do you all consider those two courses to be something that needs to be part of what you teach? Regardless, if you were building a program today, would you put MedTerm and AMP in it?
I mean, it's supposed to be in there from the ASRT.
Thank you. Okay, so those two for sure. So that goes into I think that'll make a difference in how it all comes out, so. And the typical numbers from the transfer classes would be like 120 and hours for AMP and 45 for MedTerm, somewhere around there. Is that what you guys use as in your count, or?
45 med term and 96 for AMP.
And 96 for AMP, okay. So if I call it something different, we'll just change the number somewhere else, okay. Okay, so Audrey, yours is at 2732, but you have a full-on 2-year program. Do we know why? I mean, do you know what it is that's different about yours than others?
Besides that, we teach the
AMP
and midterm. We have another class called modality applications
Uh-huh.
that we teach. I'm sure the other programs do too, it's just incorporated differently.
Okay.
It's when they do their specialty rotations.
Oh, okay.
But we do that as like, it's a whole separate class.
Okay, So you do a specialty.
And I think it's just, don't we have to like let JCERT know how many months our program has to be accredited for?
Yes.
So that was like set up even before
Ah,
I was
so
here.
the months, okay.
So that's like a JCERT.
Does everyone do the same? Do you all do 6 hours a day? Do you do 8? When
All
you do
different.
6? What do you do?
All different,
All different? Every day's different?
depending on what course they're in.
Oh,
So there may be a 6-hour day, there may be an 8-hour day. There's a 4-hour day in there for the summer,
wow,
the summer courses.
okay.
So plus we have more breaks. Like holidays. We give 'em some
Meridian
snow
does?
days. We give 'em some snow days.
Oh, okay.
We do 6-hour days,
Professional days.
8-hour clinical days.
6-hour days, 8-hour clinicals, okay. What do you guys do?
6 class and 7 clinical.
Okay. 7 clinical,
We're mostly 6 class and 8-hour clinicals.
okay.
We have a few 4-hour days in there, but mostly 6 and 8.
Okay, and I'm curious, I'm gonna do this real quick so we can see if I'm not. What? I tried to make it bigger. Okay, how do I get all my participants back?
Right there.
Which
If
one?
You just click participants in mine.
I think he's just gonna give me a list of names.
There you go.
Computers. Oh, you're so right. So I don't have, I'm looking for, I'm sorry, everyone, I'm looking for Debbie Owsley, but she's not gonna be able, she's gotta teach, so she's not gonna be able to get on here at all. Okay. Cause theirs is 2,100 and I'm curious, or, it's significantly shorter. So I was just curious how.
Well, and they're just now changing back to clock hours because they were credit hours.
Because they were with,
So I think
camera.
she's still kind of, at one point, she was still kind of guesstimating a little bit.
okay, and
So-
that's 22 months.
So we're then for sure going back to just rotate.
Yes, great points.
Okay.
So Tulsa Tech, what is, so
Don't know when yet.
you're a little short, you're a little bit shorter in length.
Mhm.
And then, so you have 11-month teachers, right? Does everyone get, or do you just?
Consider 12 months.
Oh, you are, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just curious.
We have fewer clinical hours
Okay,
and some of our classes are about the same, some are a little bit shorter. We took out advanced imaging after the ASRT took it out. And
what is that? What does advanced imaging cover?
well, the way we did it, it was towards the end of the program and it was really a review of image analysis with a little bit of procedures to get students ready for the registry.
Okay,
But we thought maybe about putting it back in, but Tommy said her opinion, she just retired. She
Yes,
said
I
her
know.
opinions, yes, that if it's really over image analysis, there's so few questions on the registry about image analysis that she didn't see it being really that beneficial,
okay.
so.
That advanced imaging class, cause it's like additional concentration I think in
Oh,
ASRT,
okay.
right?
Okay, well, I'd have to look at it again. Yeah, we made a whole new class called additional concentration.
Oh,
so-
okay.
So
So that's still covering the same thing, it just may not be called the same thing.
Mine's advanced imaging, it's the same thing.
okay.
Yes.
And then.
Want to say something?
No, I was just thinking, cause like we came up with this like
Yes.
document, right?
Yes.
And so how did we get the 2516? Cause I think that's when we all sat down last time and took the clock hours.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was kind of going off of. That number. Cause I didn't know if we were gonna have to go down to 2100, like the lowest, or where we got this, cause it's not the average.
Right, the average isn't gonna work anyway, but here's the thing, with you being different hours, different time schedules. Some of you have prereqs that, yeah,
I know.
sorry, I'm pausing because I don't know what, I love that we have this. Heck, I'll just go put this in the system and
Yeah.
call it good. But I'd love for you guys to say, no, I want you to, okay, everyone else doesn't have that document with them, so I'm gonna stop sharing this document. Oops. And I'm gonna start sharing this document, maybe. There we go. Yeah, I forgot to hit share, didn't I? Where's it? Dang it. It's down here and I can't get to it.
Hit your Zoom button on the bottom.
Hit my Zoom button on the bottom. Zoom, boom. Okay,
Alright,
thank
now
you.
you go share.
Okay. No, it's not. It's just I'm a ding dong.
No, it's hard. That means we're both
Okay.
dogs, so no, we're not voting on that.
That could not be.
We're good people.
We are good people, but that doesn't mean we're, oh, there's my share button.
Good job.
Share. And Word is right there. And
Yes.
share.
And I think you sent this out in the email. It's like in December of 2023.
Yeah.
So we put on there in the bottom, it says review October of 2023. So that's when we kind of finalized
Kind of.
the hours in the ASRT group.
This will work for Laura. So. I'm gonna try and make it a little bit smaller so you can see that all the courses. I think. Should be
Your Zoom's in the lower right.
up.
Right there.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. Thank you.
Another thing is, like,
Oh, God, that went small.
some of us teach, like, the ethics in law, we teach that in intro. And we cover some patient care a little bit.
Yeah, you don't have the same course names
Right.
and hours, yes. And you will not have to have the same course names and hours. I have to have something to put to the computer.
Okay.
So we have these things starred on here, but there's no reference to why they're starred. Human structure and function, midterm.
Those are the, in the syllabus that you had, which I do have that document on there, it says that those could be prereqs if the program.
Oh,
did
okay,
those
okay.
as prereqs.
And then the single star is optional.
Yes.
So these two at the bottom, the career prep and comprehensive program review. Although, I don't know, I was in a meeting, I think, where some of you decided that, yes, we're adding that in for sure. How many of you do that? You were gonna change yours to where you did more test prep. I don't know what the name of the course is for everyone, but
Theirs is.
You already do it.
I had, like, we had a lot more hours than everybody else.
okay,
We have the hours that are listed on here. For the
Okay.
program and the comp review.
the 64 and the 16, okay.
Each tab is
That's what
listed.
mine is too.
We do
Okay.
72.
You have 72, so you have a few more hours on test program review.
Yes.
Okay.
'Cause I think those are listed as optional, like they're not listed on the ASRT curriculum courses that are required to teach. So I think that's why they're listed as optional. But we all teach them.
Right. Is it, should the procedures, image analysis and clinical practice be divided into two courses like it lists here, 1 and 2, and divide up those hours, or should we just call it radiographic procedures and leave it at 300? And we just know that it's, well, actually, I would probably just take out the parentheses and it would be radiographic procedures 1 and 2. That would be the name of it.
Ours is actually divided into 4
Okay.
for procedures and 4 for clinical, but we only have a 1 and 2 for image analysis.
So it might be better just to not designate. just
Right,
Yeah,
just say
just-
clinical, say, what it, on average or just out of curiosity, how many hours of clinical do each of you do? And you said that you don't do as many because you use, well, this says 1,300, so.
Okay, we've got 1059 on that back sheet of that little packet. I gave you.
Oh, yes.
That everybody's, well, that we can find on there. So we're 1059.
Okay. Gotcha. So what, does anyone else do 1,300 or?
We do more. We do more.
You both do more. What, how many do you, more than 1,300? What do you do?
1445.
16.
Yeah. So this is, I'll come right back to that.
Just slightly, 1338.
1338. How about you, Metro?
We're at 1489.
So, just out of curiosity, rationale for why, is it because Tulsa Tech's the competition to be able to get in and use the facilities?
Well, part of it is a few years ago, we moved up our start date into July instead of August and kind of redefined the hours a bit because we wanted our students to be able to get out at or before when TCC students graduated, so they had the same opportunity
Yes.
for the jobs when the jobs were not.
Yes. Are we back to jobs are easier to
Oh,
come by?
gosh, yes.
Now they moved my students up.
What? Way to go,
I'm
Cindy.
sorry, I heard nothing.
And I misspoke, we do 1520.
And is that, and I'm going to just, I've had lots of these meetings with, adult programs, and I know that it may be harder to get certain clinical experiences in the more rural areas. Right, is that why you have more numbers? I mean, that Andrea helped me understand that with Surge Tech and some other areas, so I don't know. Do you guys have, is it still a required list of all the different things they have to do? And like documentation that they've done this?
Competencies.
Thank you, competency. And, do they do different, are you guys one that does different ages as well, or is it just, okay, so you do have to get pediatric or geriatric, okay. I was just curious.
There's been talk even about adding the bariatric in the past, but
Ooh.
they haven't put it on there yet because so many,
That
it was on one of the drafts, but then they removed it last year's content specs or whatever.
Are we getting thinner as
So,
a
like-
society?
Oklahoma won't
or-
have any trouble getting those.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, ain't nobody fitting in
I
that
think
tube.
they said that a lot of schools couldn't find bariatric like facilities or places
Oh,
or something, so they were still worried about adding that, but I have a feeling it'll come in the future.
yeah. Yeah, cause you know, it's, yeah. And truly in every area, we have to, because it's different.
Yes.
Sometimes you need different resources, like different lifts and things like that, if you're
Well,
struggling.
and technique and all, I mean, there's a lot to it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. We love to come to these stuff and we learn. See, that's why we like these.
Can I go back to the?
Yes, please.
Clinical competencies for just a minute? Do y'all require, just the ones that the ARRT requires, or do you require more? We require more. Okay, we do 63.
I think ours is 65.
65.
I just do the ones that are required by ART plus a CT grant.
That's what we have.
Plus
We have
the
3
what?
extra CTs, but
CT
everything
head.
else is the same.
Plus a CT head.
Just we just do the ART
Okay,
and then the CT grant.
so I'm gonna ask personal questions now. only because I rode with Emily and as she was getting phone calls from her students. We had gone to Indian Capital together and and I know that students, some of the decisions about curriculum and stuff might make it, I mean, some of the things that you all have done for your curriculum are to help make sure the students are passing, right? I mean, that's obviously our ultimate goal. Do you feel like what is listed here correlates with what you're doing enough that this student that does my class, my program here for DCTE will be prepared for the test and pass the test, yes, yeah. Have you guys all changed what you're doing a little bit, or everything's, they're all like, everything's kosher, we're good?
Well, I mean,
I know you were gonna change some of this stuff, you were gonna add more hours to your review course.
comprehensive review, we added a whole like semester instead of just like 2 months, it's still the same number.
Oh, but you
hours.
spread it
We
out,
spread it out longer, so they're taking more mocks, total mocks.
okay,
So it's over a more, like, that's after we talked to you. Too.
I mean,
So that helped.
yeah,
Our scores did and our pass rate increased this year,
Good.
so. But we still changed a lot in that course for review and stuff, and we did some like
how you're doing it
lectures
and
and stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, like some mini like review lectures, like because digital was their big struggle.
Mhm.
And I think the lowest like in 2023 was rad bio and abdomen and thorax on the ART, but the students were saying it was the GI like variant stuff. So we focused on that in the curriculum and those scores went up a lot.
Really?
Now our lowest this year is extremity.
Ours was extremely.
They're saying that it's all the like stuff that it's not routine. It's like your
Special
your
circumstances.
specials, yeah.
So the only way that you all have to know this, because you're not sent anything but the composite score, or are you sent the score at all? The student has to report it to you.
I just go on the ART website.
Okay, it tells you.
I don't know
Does
what
it-
student it is.
Right, does it tell you, does it break it down? And, okay, that's cool. So at least they tell you what areas
Until this year,
your student.
we would go to the testing center and sit in the parking lot. And be a cheerleader.
How many girls did Gina go through?
Yeah. And cheer when they came out or console when they, and a lot of them like that. This year we did not, we were not, I can't remember what happened, what's going on, but we were not able to do
Yeah.
that. But we also asked them
You were
to
probably in class for
immediately, no, I can't remember
I'm
what
just
it
teasing,
was,
sorry.
but, we also asked them to call us or text us and let us know what they made. We can't force them to do that.
Right.
We had one girl one year that like went out the back door.
Oh.
And Dina was like, yeah, she like got the car and drove around the parking lot and found her.
Oh, that's funny. So does everybody test on the same day?
We try to have them scheduled on the same day or 2 days.
Uh-huh.
The year before, we had several of them that had to go out of state. Well, no, that's why we didn't go. This year we had,
Oh.
like, the majority of
We
the
went
class
to
had to go to
Arkansas?
Texas.
When do your
We had
years
a
take
good
it in
day.
July?
They test in May as
May?
soon as they can, May or first part of June, soon after graduation.
Some of ours had to even go into August, so we're still waiting for one more.
Ours had to go late
Yeah,
today.
take it.
Yeah, they went to Texas, the majority of the class went to Texas. I think we only had 2 of them that tested in Arkansas at Fort Smith. The rest of them all tested in Texas this year. That's why we didn't go.
Yeah.
The year before that, we went and they all got the test in Tulsa.
Our days are so spread out too. Somebody will find an opening here in Oklahoma City and somebody will find an opening for here in Tulsa. And it's just,
We found our students like to go with each other on the same day and try to get the same time or pretty close, and they will stand out there and wait for their classmates to come out, so.
and we ask them to call afterwards. I'll say, share your good news with us, hoping, yeah, that's good news. But
Yeah, we used to, when it was at the bank, right outside the bank over here, in Tulsa. They would come out, some people would come out and say, what are y'all doing? Because we had lawn chairs.
Dina's in a dinosaur costume. Yeah.
No, she didn't ever do that, but.
She would.
Not that she would.
Yeah, exactly. I just thought that might really keep the,
She called me one day for something. She said something, I go, Tina, are you speaking from the other side?
Well, so I can be done and we can just sit and visit, and I'm totally cool with that. I have a list, you all that are online can see what my list says.
So if we go over that, we just need to supply like a syllabus or something?
You're going to I think
Doesn't
so,
matter.
just like Andrea asked earlier, I don't know. Because we haven't met with CTIMS to say we're gonna have, but we've already made the adaptation from last year to do that. So when Brent said, you know, and he's talked to all the superintendents that this is what we were gonna do. We were gonna come up with an hour designation for each one of our programs. I'm pretty sure that when we add the third party thing in, I don't know why we would do anything different than they did last year. I mean, there's already, all you have to do is say, yes, I know my program is actually this many hours and this is my documentation, and you upload your syllabus or you upload your approval from JCERT or whatever, your application letter or whatever, yeah.
So does that mean, you might not know this, but does that mean when financial aid goes to pay, they're only gonna pay for what you submit? They
No.
won't pay over?
They will pay what, in these instances, these are the only ones, so this is why it's been tricky on some things like medical assisting that we were talking about earlier. Because we have everything from 480 to 1,050 hour medical assisting programs. And it's because they're trying to meet the needs in their local area and get as many certifications as possible, you know, for their students. So we've done this, and that's how I would direct someone. If Dustin called me and said, hey, I have a class, but it's got adults and they're gonna need financial aid, I would help him figure out how to put something together that would get them the most certifications they could. And we're gonna call it this because that's just what we've had to do, because there's only so many SOC codes that are out there. So, but since that is the one word that I got after the Surge Tech meeting, which the Surge Tech meeting, we had everyone in like freak out mode because we thought we were all gonna have to be exactly the same. And as soon as I finished, the next week I went, that was on a Friday, and the next week I went and talked to my boss, Corey Gray, and she said, no. She said, no, anyone that has the third party accreditation, they're gonna, you know, or if it is a number that is set by a regulatory body. So, you know, if long-term care nurse aid is set at 75 hours, so we have to, that would be something we would have to make sure it's at least 75 hours. So I'm thinking EMT is gonna be easy tomorrow because the Board of State Department of Health and the NTSB, National Traffic Safety, Transportation Safety, but yeah, they set those hours for curriculum, so. Now, what we add to it in my situation, we add MedTerm, AMP, you know, the things that we feel like are core for every healthcare professional to have. And that's what rounds out a program where it will be an appropriate number of hours for students to go to, so. With that said, and I may have said some things that people on, I'm going to stop sharing. I may have said some things. Carol Williams, you are front and center, darling. I'm going to make it where lots of faces can be seen or lots of blank things. Yeah, there we go. Now you guys can see us again. Do you all have any questions? No?
So are you gonna go off this 25-16?
I am,
Okay.
unless you tell me something different, and I'm happy to go through all these again. Is there anything that's really changed since we met in last year? About this time, actually. And I mean, that's really what I needed to do, was to make sure that we're all still kind of on the same page.
There's not any kind of rule that's like within 10% of that number or anything like that, because I remember that was for a long time, like you had to be within 10% or you had, yeah.
You have, the one rule that I know of is that your clinicals has to be, within, I think it can't go over 51%, it can't go over 50%, right? It can be 49%, but it can't be, or maybe even 50, but it can't be 51% of your hours. So however many clinical hours you're doing, whatever your number is, you just need to make sure, and that's a financial aid rule. That's not a, Laura, well, that's way too much math for me, so that's not a Laura rule.
Well, since most of these things match the ASRT curriculum, except this sheet has human structure and function, and the ASRT has human anatomy and physiology. Do we,
I will probably change that one to anatomy and physiology, just because I think that course is already out there on our framework, and it's just easier for when I'm putting things in to call it exactly what it's called in other areas.
Instead of human structure and function, we're gonna call it ANP.
Yeah, anatomy and physiology. Did you guys hear that? I am gonna change the name on human structure and function to anatomy and physiology. Yeah, and we did intentionally name everything that the national, you know, that they had set out, their curriculum had been set out, so.
they've also got, hold on, so they've also got the additional concentrations on the ASRT curriculum instead of, I guess, advanced imaging.
Okay,
But doesn't ASRT use human structure and function?
Well, this one says human anatomy and physiology, this last one.
Fantastic.
oh. What do you know? Okay, so talk to me about the difference between advanced imaging and additional, what you call it, additional concentrations. And tell me what, I'm sorry, you already said this once, but tell it to me again, what that is. What is an additional concentration?
Well, we treat it like the modalities, you know, we have guest speakers come in and talk about.
Okay, so your definition, I'm an athletic trainer, so my definition of modalities are things like heat and ice. And so when you say the word modalities, that's what, those are treatment.
MRI,
Okay.
mammo, radiation therapy, et cetera, et cetera.
CT, MRI, okay.
Any other medical
Sonography.
imaging, basically.
Any other, and so this is, do they do any clinical experience of observation during that? Is that what they do? Some of it, or they can?
Well, we just have that included in clinicals, we just.
Okay.
Yeah, but when we do advanced imaging, we teach things about those modalities.
Okay, so you talked to them about, this is what's different about a CT scan and a PET scan, or this is what's
And we'll
different.
put ultrasound in there, like we kind of cover, so that way they're aware of kind of what our other options in medical imaging do.
Right, and when you when you're no longer a baby RT and you want to go into a specialization, right? Because they can do that but they have to be an RT first.
Well, if they're going through our program, they're gonna be an RT.
Right, I know, yeah,
And then-
for sure.
You know, they can branch off into anything.
But that's the point of the course, is to let them know all the other options that are out there.
Yes,
Okay.
and according to the ASRT curriculum, or those content specifications from the ART, you have to be able to answer basic questions about.
Oh, so like,
Nineteen
yeah,
radiation.
what is that? Yeah. Okay. And you're still my only MRI. You're making noises. Andrea, she's making noises. She knows. I have a feeling you guys talked about it before, but there's no one else that's doing any specialization areas that we know of, right? Okay. Well, then I'm going to make you do something else, and I would just like for your opinions on radiology aid. Right now, Meridian is the only one that uses that as an option for, do you do adults too in that, or just high school? If they want, but y'all are the only people I know to ask, is this what should be covered? And I know that you guys probably wrote this curriculum, so I'm sure it'll be great, but do you mind if I show it to them and see if there's anything else that, okay, I'm going to. You didn't do it? Not me, man, it's not me. There it is, so I need to copy and share. I wish you only had to share once, you know, I think this is part of my challenge. It's always that second share that gets me. Okay. Ooh, look, so this is why, so yes, I'm skipping, I feel like, and we can, did I just jump off of this too soon? Are we good with this? Yes, ma'am.
I do have one question, cause you
Sure.
said the whole 50% clinicals.
Uh-huh.
So if we have 2516 total hours and 1300 clinical practice hours, that's over 50% on this form. Is that a federal financial aid thing, was the 50%?
Yes.
It went away for a while, but now I think it's back.
So I need to change that 1300 hours for clinical practice and make it something.
It'll be
From what I
1258.
understood, if you go to different clinical sites, that separates it a little bit. Like, you're not doing 50% at one site, you are getting experience in other. I might be
You know,
wrong.
I've heard, I think it's all lumped together,
Anything that's off site, basically, is what they're.
is clinical, yeah. So I don't think they care where you're doing it, as far as financial aid is concerned. And I can double check with Sandra and make sure.
And it has to be exactly 50, like that's 1258 would be 50%.
Okay.
We
It
heard
has
it
to be
was
49.
49.51.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be.
99%.
49%.
I mean, it could be 52.48, but it has to at least be 49.51.
Yeah, and 49% is 1232.84.
So it would be like 1233 probably.
Yeah, or less.
But now if that's on here, but on our program, if we're doing 27.31, then we just have to refigure our,
Yeah.
just make sure.
Make sure yours. So on this, then we have to bump something up by 67, thank you, hours. Wouldn't we, to make up for that?
Say throw it in procedures.
What?
I was just throwing in procedures going.
Or you can throw it in. your
You're saying
distributed-
take some of the numbers out of the 1300 and make it 1250, whatever, 58, 33, whatever, and do the other 67. See, I told you it's not me.
It's something like that,
1250, what did you say, 3?
1233 would have to be clinicals to get 49% if we use the 2516 total hours. We could still do. As long as it's not still 40, 50, whatever that, your program. I have trips now.
Okay, so I'll change that 1300, and where did you think we should put it? Procedures?
Well, if we change it to
33.
oh, cause then that's gonna change our total hours too.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, if we just keep
you.
Oh, I don't care.
I already teach less hours than that in procedures. I only do 210.
Does it need to be very specific as far as your accreditation goes? Like these hours need to be here, or is it they're looking at total hours?
J-Cert doesn't care, it's all up to the
Yeah,
state.
that's all financial aid. So, well, and I'm almost positive that's the rule, but if Sandra can get with us, and like I said, I know she's finishing up interviews for accreditation. So that would make this 367 hours, right?
For procedures.
Yes. Dear God, simple math. They told me I'd have to do it as a grown up, and I didn't believe them. Oh, that's funny.
That's kind of a weird number, I don't like that. That's okay,
You don't like that?
it's not perfect.
You like round
Perfectly
numbers?
divisible by however many hours
Yeah,
you do it.
It's the only odd number on the list.
yes.
As aside from
That's
the
true,
clinical
yeah.
practice, yeah.
Do you wanna make it 368? Do you?
It's okay.
366.
We could do 1232 and 368.
Okay, that's what I'm putting down. 1232 and 368 for radiographic procedures.
Let's look back.
You guys, I can let it add evens better than odds. And you know, anyone who has kids, you're like, what do you need? I have to do this all the time. You need to learn how to do that. Yeah, okay, whatever.
This concerns me because, I mean, it's 2576, so if I take 2576 divided by 2, that's 1288. I'm at 1489 clinical
I
hours.
know, I'm gonna have to trim clinical hours.
But you don't, this is just for the framework,
This is just for me.
right? If your hours
Oh, we don't
are
have to-
3,000, you
This is not
can have
changing.
49% or whatever, yeah, that kind
Yeah, you
But
just
you need to make sure that, you just need to check your clinical hours and make sure that they're not more
That's what
than
I'm saying, mine's
50%.
way
of
over.
what you have.
Yours is way over.
Mine's 200 hours over the 50% rule.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
So
Well,
we
you're-
do financial aid.
Yeah, you do, yeah, you guys do.
no,
Yeah, and do you have a new financial aid person?
I don't
Just, there's been a lot of changes,
Yeah.
and so I don't know either.
Yeah. Cause I'm
Um,
like, that's the first I've heard that rule,
oh,
and I'm like,
sorry.
we've been that for a while.
Or is it one of those things where since they're approved by a third party that they don't need to worry about?
No, financial aid's a different thing. It still can't be, part of it is,
It's been like that.
that,
For a long
Since I've
time.
been at Indian Capital
Yeah.
for 20-some years.
So yeah, I've got 200 over 201 hours, cause that, right at 50% would be 1288. And I have to be less than that, so I'd have to remove over 200 hours for clinicals.
probably will have to.
and I don't want you to have to, I mean, I just know that, I mean, I'm almost positive, and she'll get back with me in a little bit. But Well, before we leave, we're gonna find the answer to your question, okay? I promise.
I do have one other question about
Sure.
ours. I was told that they're wanting all career techs to have these perfect rounded numbers of 30, 60, 120 for all courses.
Okay, the answer to that is new. And the reason that is no is we have different divisions that want everything, just like she was saying, and it may have been before you came in. Like, for example, business and IT. They want all of their classes, because they are split about half in a tech center and about half in high schools. They want everything to be 120 hours a Carnegie unit, which is what they use in high school settings to give 1 credit. Does that make sense? So students have to have, 1 science, 1 math, 1 whatever, and so each one of those equals 120 hours. So they have put all of their courses into 120, 240, 360, and the 480 that we were talking about earlier with medical assisting. We realized, we have a lot of schools that have been looking at 525 hours, saying, we don't actually do 525 hours of contact with our high school students. They're not really there. There's no way we can get all of this, and we've done this for years. Everything has been based on 525 and 1,050, right? So high school students went for 525 hours, and it was like straight across the board. Well, by actually going in and looking at curriculum, they're realizing that, we may have been putting some fluff in there that we didn't need to have, and that there isn't 525 hours in the classroom. Does that make sense? They're really sneak over. I love you using your chair.
Laura,
Yes.
I just wanted to comment on that just for some
Sure.
clarification purposes. I've been on all the meetings with Mark Birch with the Be
Yes.
My division. And he has, and I've asked him in every meeting, just so I could go back and reflect on it for the recording, is that he is not expecting that the courses be 120 hours. The only courses that have to be 120 hours are those courses that are approved for OLAP. So if one of the Be My courses is an actual approved OLAP, that students get credit if they're on the OLAP pathway, or, if
Right.
they've been approved for that. Those have to be that Carnegie unit at 120, because those specifically get transcribed on a high
Sure.
school transcript. So all the other courses, he says that they can be however many hours that a school wants them to be. We just have to land at a total of 480 or 960. So
Okay.
I wanted to just clarify
Thank you.
that BMI's not doing across the board, each course being 120. It's only if it's an OLAP.
Okay, they do have a lot of their courses are already set up. A lot of their programs are set up with 120-hour blocks. STEM is the same way, though. I mean, does that make sense?
There's actually quite a few courses that are 90 hours, 60 hours
Okay, awesome.
in the Be My division. I think you just see a large 120 because of what you said of the number of programs in the high school. But
Right.
a lot of the tech center programs didn't follow necessarily that 120 for each course.
They break it
Majority
down
of them are.
differently.
So-
Okay.
So just wanted to clarify.
Okay, thank you. No, I appreciate that. It was, I had just talked to him personally, just one-on-one, and he said that everything was landing on 480 or 960. And so I didn't know, and I know that his high school programs, they have the same outcomes. Does that make sense? So I made that assumption. They also have a lot of things, they have more things in STEM and that would count for OLAP credit than we do. The only thing we have that would count for OLAP credit is anatomy and physiology for 120 hours. So as far as health goes, it's kind of a different world for me because we don't have all of those courses that are approved by high school, you know what I'm saying, that are taught in high schools for this set amount of hours, so. But I do know that they're a little bit, because they have so many programs in comprehensive high schools, they look at it very different than we do. We're kind of all over the board, and it doesn't matter if it's like nana nana boo boo, you can't tell me what to do, because and I'm sorry, but the ASRT tells me what to do. So that's what I get to say to them. Yeah, I know I'm being recorded. I know, you have no idea the things I've said on recordings over the last 3 weeks. Denise does, she's been with me for every one of them, and she's like, ugh, it's bad news, Laura. They just sit and go, oh, God. I hope she can stay there the rest of her days, because she'll never get a job anywhere else.
You need a quarter wagner that installs your filter.
I know, I do, yeah.
So how much autonomy do you say that the program directors have over things like getting to decide what the courses names are and how many hours they go to?
Complete.
Cause that's not how it's done.
I understand that, and I don't know where now, you have complete autonomy because you're accredited by a third party. Now, she's exactly right, what your school is going to be asked to do is to be able to say, this is what we do, this is what we teach, and like, let's consider the long-term care, okay? I will have a template out there for long-term care nurse aide, and it will be for X number of hours. So Stacy and Tori's classes that they're teaching, they'll have an option, and that's gonna be what it is. Now this is what I told everyone that gets me in trouble, but do I care what you call it on your campus or how many hours you have it for on your campus? I do not, because we don't do program evaluations anymore. No one is going to come to your campus and sit down and say, show me exactly what you're doing, and then compare it against what was put into a computer, months ago. Many schools have people that they're not even that familiar with the courses. I mean, if you look all across the state, we have people that there is no way they could know every nuance for every program that they're putting in there. You see what I'm saying? Some schools are small enough that one person may be putting in all the T&I programs, all the health programs, if that makes sense. So that's why I say, nah, nobody's gonna come look. I mean, now, I realize that that's the interpretation that has been taken away from some of the meetings. Now, Brent did say to the superintendents, from what I understand, yes, everyone's going to have a number that they land on. Okay, we're gonna give you a number, and that's what it's gonna be. But he didn't talk to him about third-party accreditation things at that time. But I'm telling you, I've worked in the system for 27 years, and nobody's going to come and nitpick every little school, every little program, every hour.
Can you imagine JCERT's nightmare if they did that nationally? All the programs.
Everybody would have to do a substantial change.
Mhm.
Yeah, oh, man.
Okay, Leslie Winters is like,
Yeah, so we would never,
no wonder she's retiring.
in reality, while it might be something that, it looks good, it sounds good to all be exactly the same. Now, do I have to have a number in the computer that says this is what our rad tech programs look like? Yes. Do you have to click that box and say, yes, I'm a rad tech program, however, I have this. If we're all over the place on some other areas too. We have a lot of professions in Oklahoma that aren't regulated. And on those specific ones, those are the ones that have been the most difficult to come to a consensus on, because I do this, I call it this other thing, then that's different than this school. And I put all these other courses in there, you know, so it's like, so some of those we're having to have a little more regulation, not regulation, but we're having to build consensus more. Did you like the way I said that?
Very
That's-
nice of you.
Thank you, thank you. Sometimes real words pop in my head, I never know. And I'm sorry for the dings, I'm just looking for her to call us back, so. Any other questions or thoughts or something, anything that I've misspoke on, or anything from our online peeps?
So basically, this is exactly like it was before because we're a third party. So we all panicked.
So y'all came here just to hang out today. You got to drive 2.5 hours just to come hang out. Yeah. I know, no, we know this group has always been fantastic about getting together and talking through issues that are going on in the classroom and how to handle certain processes and so on. So, this group, Surge Tech, respiratory, those are my groups that have always been very, and of course, practical nursing, but, they meet all the time, so it's not the same. This is an opportunity for you all. Do you all have anything else? Is there anything pressing? I'm not just looking at you, Allison. Is there anything pressing?
Probably do.
No. Yeah. Okay. Well, then will you help me look at radiology aid, and then we'll shut off the things and you guys can talk about whatever you want to talk about? Okay, thank you. So I've got on radiology aid, let's see, who else is on here? High Plains, it doesn't surprise me, High Plains has, and West Watkins, okay. So let me explain. So West Watkins, it looks like, we have clinical practice for radiology aid. Now you all have what's called a limited license, right? And that's what we base this off of, is the limited license.
Just like a certificate.
Yeah.
Certified limited licensure in rad tech,
CLLRT.
yes.
Okay, so, and is this based off?
So they'll be able to take that after they take this course, and I
Okay.
think pretty much all of them pass. But I will say, Michelle Mills that's teaching this actually was in a meeting with some State Department people, and they're looking at writing their own test,
So their own,
certification, yes.
you're saying that ARRT is wanting to write their own? Oh, Career Tech, oh, well, yeah, that's, and the only people really that would be using it would be in our state anyway, so. What they have done with a lot of our areas in Career Tech is they've been able to get, like, for example, vet assisting has come to Career Tech and said, may we use your exam that you have as our entry to practice as a vet assistant in the state? Sure, you know, if you want to be, and their boards have come and said, this is what we have, would you consider doing this? So we've done that with 2 or 3 different areas, so that may be why. It may be that they're just trying to get a handle on some things, what they'll do, and they will probably ask for you all to help if they do create a test. They have to start by coming up with the standards, which are the standards that you just talked about from the limited license, right?
The ART limited license.
Exactly, so they'll look at those standards, create Oklahoma standards, and then they'll have someone write test questions. And for anyone in Oklahoma, that's free. The assessment is free, okay? if one of the areas, like if your rad tech board in the state picks, you do have one, right? Cause it's with you guys are part of the medical licensure, right? No.
We don't have a state license.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Do you have a, so there's no board that, cause even like dental assistants aren't licensed, but they fall under the board for their rules and regs for where they go. You guys still have to have rules and regs, yes?
Oklahoma licenses are ART certifications.
Yes.
Okay, so what is that? Okay. So,
And if you go to another state, the only thing they have to do is really fill out an application and pay for most states.
right,
Some of them have an additional 4.0 test or something.
okay, so this is what, and since this came originally from the limited licensure, thing that the national organization put out, it's, we've got anatomy and physiology, we have med term, CPR, first aid, okay? And then we've added, we have clinical practice of 120 hours, imaging, processing, and PACS. What is PACS?
Still call it
Picture archiving.
Picture archiving communication system.
Oh, so it should be capitalized.
Yes.
Capital P, capital A, capital C, capital I. Okay, gotcha.
It's now MIPS.
Say it again.
Medical
remember.
imaging,
I just know it's
processing.
MIPS. MIMPS.
MIMPS, okay, MIPS. Okay, well, that sounds fun anyway, right?
Medical imaging
It's like
management
months, but
processing
without the
Management
swelling.
processing system, okay.
Okay, and then we have introduction, patient care, 90 hours. We've thrown in some professionalism and some protection. So that's kind of our little safety, nod to safety as well, right?
Does the professionalism have ethics and law or something in it? Is that why it has so many hours?
That's a Meridian class.
I think that's also their like,
Is that like
the resume, like it's.
So it's
So probably career prep.
professionalism?
It's career prep and
Yeah.
work ethic and all that stuff. Really.
Let's see so now let's look at the others, because this is what my guess is it should look identical. Except they've got more hours. Looks like they've added core to it. Okay, so where this one has professionalism in it, this one they're taking the health careers core, which is communication, safety, legal and ethical, all that stuff, okay? So, and the reason this is here, I can just guarantee, is because they have adults in this. So when you're in rural America, you can't, there's nowhere to put multiple, lots and lots of radiology aides, right? So they may have a classroom of 20 or 15 students and only 2 of them might choose this option, okay? So, and then we do that intentionally. High Plains is one of those areas that's a 2-teacher program, and they have a lot of different options for students, and the teacher becomes a facilitator of the information rather than, so a lot of what they're going to learn outside of the book is going to be during their clinical practice, because that's the people who really know it and understand it, okay? So they are very aware that they are not experts in this field. Sorry, I'm going up to see, I think theirs is gonna be similar. Okay, so West Watkins, it looks like they're doing the same, their core is a little bit shorter. Everything else is about the same. So, and that's using a 575. So they're not using it for adults for financial aid anyway. So, so tell me about hours let's pretend that anatomy and physiology and CPR, first aid, and med term are pulled out. Would, if we did that, the other courses, and the reason I say that is because, yeah, are you guys, do you have adults in this?
And,
Do you need it to be 600 hours? That's my question.
if we want to be able to put adults in
If you want financial.
Yeah.
There have
for
been
financial
some
aid.
adults interested in it.
Okay, so that,
So you want to take out which ones?
the core stuff, anatomy, physiology, CPR, first aid. I was just saying, could it get to a 480? And then they have that before they come in, either by taking one of the health science classes or as a prerequisite, taking that term in AMP before they come into that.
That's what ours do.
Okay,
But they get semester core, then they come into the.
okay, so if they do that and come from another course, then they're not going to get financial aid anyway. Because there wouldn't be enough hours.
They could, because they're in this program.
Okay, so my
They're
question,
enrolling in the program, they're not enrolling in core. They're
Right,
enrolling in
right.
a 3-year ad.
oh, they call it you call it
Yeah.
for the core, basically,
Yeah.
okay. That's my question, is everyone is right at or above? And I've been saying, okay, then we will set these at.
It's like for ours, you take out anatomy, physiology, medical terminology, CPR, and then the professionalism is all of our core
Right.
stuff. Everything else is probably the same for the most part.
Yes, agreed. My question is, do we need to build, whatever we build here, does it need to build to be 600 hours? What will your high school students do if it's 600 hours? And as opposed to making it 480 like the other areas. So I'm just asking for some advice.
And Michelle's taught this last semester,
Yes.
so maybe she would be a good person to ask what
Yes.
needs to go up or down, as well. But, yeah. So she pretty much had it all set up.
Have any of the rest of you thought about putting that in as an option for
And I know she wanted to ask too, do we need to call it Rad Aid, or, cause we've kind of called it pre-rad tech or Rad Aid, like she didn't know if we needed
Yeah,
to.
we can't-
go
we-
towards it.
whatever we do, we can't call it anything. You can call
We
it
can
that
call it that.
Okay,
They-
for your marketing name. I can't
got
call
you.
it that. Cause there's no such thing as a pre-rad aid. That's just a person.
Your anatomy and physiology together is 120, and that's more than we have set,
Right.
so I would say you could get some.
That's for
Well, that's,
the high school credit.
yeah, that is for high school credit. It's our only one that's OLAP, so. Professionalism is.
I know they're wanting to expand my program, so I would be surprised if they weren't interested in something like this. I think that they just don't know that it is an option, because I'm not offering that information up.
Yes.
Brittany.
Well, I will tell you, Metro Tech, we've got to find other options besides just long-term care in the metropolitan area. You know, I would love for there to be something else offered at your district.
They're wanting to, basically, our wing of the building, that C wing, they're wanting to turn all of that into radiology. And they're like, well, we'll probably maybe consider doubling your program. That concerns me, because how am I gonna find jobs for that many people?
Yeah, and clinical.
So I would rather propose something like this,
Uh-huh.
where it's not fighting for jobs with what I already have going. So like.
And they can do this in, but they can do this in medical offices. That's what, that and a chiropractic office, those are the two places where I really see.
it's been really good even for our program because it's gotten so many students interested.
Oh, it has?
Wanted to go.
Our numbers have been up with applications, but They loved getting to go to clinicals, like the teacher had to go with them since they're high school students, but she took them to all different modalities. And so they were already like finding which ones they wanted to work in. So they did go to clinicals with some of our students were there. But it was more like she just moved them all through a different modalities. And then they had like so many like lab hours too that they would come and do. Stuff as well, because we've kind of even talked about adding like a non-energized even lab. So they can get practice in there as
Does the
well.
JRC have to come in and?
This has nothing to do.
Nothing to do.
Now,
So
we did do that they're wearing badges, and so they are signing like the papers about radiation safety and stuff. Or if they're under 18, like their parents will sign off on it.
Okay.
So we are ordering them those types of badges when they go to clinicals. And doing all that, but no.
I would much rather we go this route.
I mean, her numbers are even up for enrollment from the first to the second semester, she's gonna be teaching it, so.
And it's a dual purpose, one, to help. for
A
the-
feed.
Yeah, a feeding program, but also at Stillwater Medical Center, they're like, hey, our clinics are having people do x-rays, they have no clue what they're doing.
Right.
They're getting bad images, doctors are getting mad, they're having to redo them. Is there anything out there that we can do? And so we have this, and we also have a short-term program, that's the version of this as well, to help people who are already working at these clinics to.
And the
Good stuff.
two teachers that are teaching are rad techs.
That was my question, I was gonna ask. They are techs.
Yeah, and
And we'll even do it, like, I'll go down there and like show them images and stuff too, and talk about the program. We have what we call like a rad tech track, and they also do a practical nursing one. So if the student meets specific criteria, like attendance, grades, only takes tests once in that high school program, they have then the option they still have to turn in their own paperwork and their prereqs, but they can then come to the interview phase, like pretty much be guaranteed an interview. Through that process, but by the time they turn everything in, they've already got all this stuff completed anyways.
so they know that, and they know they're gonna have to do they'll have to enroll at NOC.
So
So that
that's
helps
where
NOC
this NOC
too,
thing has come
Cause
through.
NOC's like,
'Cause
sweet,
they
we
can
get
actually
more students
Be enrolled
because.
in the RAD aid program and be taking NOC
College
classes.
classes, even as
And
a
high school
senior in high
students.
school,
Because
yeah.
there were some of those students in the RAD aid program that never ever thought they'd even be able to go to college.
Yeah.
And so when we would go and talk to them about the program, they're like, I'm just not going to college, I'm not a college person, so I can't go get my degree. So this NOC thing has really helped them, and they're like, okay, if I only have to do a year at NOC, then I can come to Meridian for 2 more years, get my certificate, have an associate's degree.
Are they able to get all their NOC hours while they're doing the A program, or are they still doing some hours?
And you guys
in
might
the
know,
tech program?
when they're a junior in high school, you can take up to, is it 8, 12?
I think you can take up to
12 credit hours for like free.
I know that I'm a little
then-
irritated that my daughter that's going to OSU did not take her full max of
Your
hours.
senior year, I think you can take up to 18. So our goal was, we could get a high school student that was on top of things, that could take classes at NOC, their junior and senior year of high school, and then pretty much be ready to come into our program right after that. If they meet those NOC requirements as well, because the NOC thing you can even take online, and it's all 3 of their campuses, Enid, Stillwater, and Tonkawa. You take this degree, specific degree.
Which they will open up to you too.
And I sent everybody the link.
It's a general
Yes,
degree, like,
I
it doesn't say
mean, it
Meridian,
doesn't,
doesn't say
yeah,
Oxford.
exactly.
And if you want like our agreement, we'll share it with you, because we kind of put it up, just basically. Put our different names in, like.
What does any NOC stand for?
Or
Northern
no.
Oklahoma College, no other choice.
That's what I heard.
Just joking, Rick.
Yeah. So juniors,
Yeah,
So that's kind of was
Can
the
get
hope, is if we can get this advertised early enough for high school students, it would help them.
see, to me,
It would
Tulsa,
save money, it would save time,
This would be a good thing for you
Yeah.
guys to have as an option. Because they don't have to have that first year. It would be great if they had, but as an option for second year, just, and what a great feat, I mean, it's a good feat for too, but I love that we need more people interested in imaging.
I mean, there was one student in Michelle Mills's semester class that loved ultrasound. She is bound and determined now. And I'm like, well, we don't have that, but I talked to her and she even contacted OU Health Science Center.
She needs to contact more Norman.
We did tell her about that. So I said, I didn't even know that girl. But I mean, even on her own, she was so excited about it that, you know, so we were kind of excited that she even took it upon herself that instead of being a high school student, to be like, I wanna be an ultrasound student tech now.
We had at least 2 that went to college this year and are taking it.
So I think I have what I need so that I can let everyone on the Zoom off the Zoom. Does anyone in Zoom land have anything you want to say? Brittany, Debbie, Carol? And I think Andrea's gone. But she's been through a bunch of these. Hey, Brittany.
Hello. I don't think so. I think that I feel good about everything. As long as Allison's good, I'm good.
She's feeling much better than when she came in.
I
Yes.
bet. I feel the tension relief.
Okay, well, I'm going to shut oh, wait, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry,
You,
I have a question. I know
excuse me, you on the other side of the room, Emily?
Sandra is who you contacted, right?
I have, and I have not heard back
So
yet.
if she does say we don't need this 50%, can we go back to the 1,300 clinical hours?
Yeah, I don't care, but she's gonna tell you it's gonna, I'm
Okay.
positive that you have to, it has to be 50%. I feel very confident in that, but
Okay.
I always love to have backup, so we'll double check, but, okay, well, then I'm gonna, I'm gonna sign off for this meeting then. Thank you, everyone, for attending.